wafuatiliaji wetu wameweza kuelewa kwa kina kwamba tunatuwakilisha kwa namna gani huko Ufaransa. Hilo la conference tourism, pia mimi binafsi nipende kumpongeza Mheshimiwa Waziri, ni jambo kubwa, ni product nyingine ya utalii ambayo kama nchi yetu tutafanikiwa kuwa nayo na kufanya vizuri, nadhani itaongeza sehemu fulani ya utalii. Malengo yenu pia kama balozi wa Ufaransa kuweza kufikia idadi ya watalii 100,000 ni jambo kubwa, tunawaombea mweze kulifanikisha. Lakini pia namna ambavyo mnashirikiana na diaspora wetu walioko huko pamoja na mambo mengine kwa ujumla ni mambo mazuri. Tunakushukuru sana Mheshimiwa Balozi. Ulizungumza kuhusu sasa wafuatiliaji wetu. Balozi Shulukindo ni balozi wetu kule nchini Ufaransa, lakini sasa hivi tunaenda kwa balozi wa Ufaransa hapa nchini kwetu Tanzania. Our next speaker is the French ambassador deployed in Tanzania. Ambassador Nabil Hajlaoui. I would like to welcome you to give your views on the said topic. The mass is so ready to hear your views, and your views is of enormous importance. You are welcome. Please unmute your mic. We are not getting you. Please unmute your mic. Can you read the message on your device? Ambassador Nabil, please help us to unmute your mic so that we can hear you well. Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
You hear me?
Yes.
Very good.
You're welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Hello?
Yes, I hear you. So thank you for the invitation. I would add, after the intervention of my dear colleague and friend Samuel Shirikondo, a few words about the tourism, as the French nationals are the first nationality coming to Tanzania as tourists. You still hear me and see me?
Yes.
Okay.
Continue speaking.
Yes. We are glad to have this first ranking among the other nationalities, among the tourists here coming to Tanzania, both to Zanzibar and the northern circuit in Arusha, the Serengeti, and Kilimanjaro. And the first thing I wanted to say is that for us, tourism is, of course, very important for the French first, because France is the first destination in tourism in the world. Just before COVID, it was about 90 million people coming to France. So it's a huge industry in France, and the French themselves travel a lot and come to Tanzania and other countries, among other partners in East Africa. And for us, it's a global industry. It starts with the carriers, the aircrafts, of course, aircraft of Air France now come to Zanzibar. The flight was launched in last October, as Samuel has just said. And after the carriers, who have, of course, the terminal, the airports, the Terminal 2 of Dar es Salaam was just mentioned also by Samuel, and we are working on other projects also in Zanzibar and Arusha. The traveler and the tourist comes to the airport, so he feels that he is in a safe place, and also he wants to see the shops that present luxury goods, and these shops are now being implemented here more and more in Tanzania. A group, Lagardère, which is a French group, specialized, one of the leaders in the world, specialized in the shops in the airports and the luxury goods, is now established here in the airport of Dar es Salaam, and they are planning to open more and more shops in Arusha and also in Zanzibar. And then the transportation from the airports, the facilities to get to the major city of the country, the local flights, of course, that's very important, and we have corporations on that, and then the hospitality and the hotels. This was mentioned earlier. The big French groups like Accor, the big brands like Golden Tulip are already here, but we are aiming to develop more to improve the quality. Of course, there will be very soon a big resort of Golden Tulip, for example, established in Domain, your capital. And the hospitality means more than a simple hotel. It means also the quality of the service, the cultural service that we can have, the French cuisine that we can find, and this is very important for French tourists. So we are working on all these aspects. We are, some French investors and also Tanzanian friends are opening more and more projects in these fields. And I have just mentioned culture because it's very important for French tourists. They come, of course, for your lovely sea and beaches and resorts. They come, of course, for your lovely wilderness and forest and reserve in North Kilimanjaro, of course. But also they want more. They want to see, to hear good music, good films, see historic monuments. And we have an activity on this. We promote festivals on film, both in Zanzibar and mainland. We have in the past participated in the renovation of historical monuments also in the south in Kilwa, but also in Dar es Salaam, Zanzibar, and elsewhere in the region. And more and more, the tourists are asking for less carbon footprint when they travel. They do not want to be a source of carbon and pollution in the country they travel to. That's why we support small companies, among them one startup here in Tanzania, between French and Tanzanians, building clean cars for safari. And there's projects going on. We are supporting this, and they are in touch with the NAPA, of course, and the Ministry of Tourism. We have shown this kind of vehicles recently in October when a French minister, Frank Riester, came here to Tanzania. It was a very successful thing in the social media. And in addition to all these things on which we already work, there's a thing which can be improved by the government, the top leaders, and this thing is trust among the two countries. Because when you receive our tourists, when Tanzanians also travel abroad, they have to be in a safe place. They have to find a health service. If there is any problem, COVID or whatever, we have to sort it out with partners with whom we work and that we trust on a daily basis. And this factor of trust, which is very important in tourism, is now there with Tanzania. We have received 10 days ago in Paris, President Samia Hassan. It was a very successful visit, and this visit, the images that we've seen, the videos, the meeting with Emmanuel Macron in the Elysee Palace, pushed really very far this trust that we have in Tanzania, and we have to build on this. We have to build on this by reassuring again and again tourists that Tanzania can have, so to improve the attractiveness of the product of tourism in Tanzania. Also to work here locally with the health services, with the hospitals, etc., to develop more and more facilities. We have already projects in this, and also on security issues. It is very important to work on daily basis with people who are in charge here. No country is immune from insecurity or lack of insecurity or terrorist attacks or whatever. But what makes the difference is how serious the country is in tackling these problems. And we are really very optimistic about the way we work with your services here, and about the cooperation we can push very far. Last thing I wanted to add is that as it is a matter of trust and huge industry, I mentioned all the aspects that are related to this industry. It is really a global tie between two countries, and the challenges also are global, because when these tourists come, and there are thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, when they come, they do not have to destroy the environment. They do not want to destroy the maritime zones that you protect. That's why our partnership with Tanzania is also very focused on protecting the maritime zones in Zanzibar and also in mainland, protecting the forests. We have Korean projects on this too. And even on Kilimanjaro, as you have a wonderful asset here in your country, which is the highest mountain in the continent, and its glacier is unfortunately disappearing slowly. And we have a project also on how to preserve this specific asset, which is a glacier in the midst of Africa and in the midst of equatorial region. So we carry all these projects. We rely on our partners in Tanzania to make them successful, and we are very optimistic about the improvement of the attractiveness of this country, and the way the shift is done in this country too. The last example is COVID, how COVID is handled. At the beginning, it was a bit complicated. Now things work very well between our two countries. And the last week, Tanzania went from red to green. Now people, when they come from Tanzania, they have no COVID testing, no rapid testing. They are considered as COVID-free, because we trust the way your country is handling this pandemic. So lots of optimism and lots of things to do in the future.
Thank you, Ambassador Nabil Hajlaoui. We really appreciate the presence of French government in this Zoom meeting, and your contribution are so valuable. We might also need you next time, so you are welcome. Yes, ndugu wafuatiliaji wetu, balozi wa Ufaransa amemaliza uwasilishaji wake. Amezungumza, labda niseme kwa kifupi, amezungumza mambo matatu kwa kifupi sana, ambayo yamejigawanyika katika maeneo mengi. Amezungumzia mbinu ambazo zinatumika na nchi ya Ufaransa katika kufanikiwa kwenye sekta ya utalii, ambazo Tanzania inaweza kujifunza. Lakini pia amezungumzia balozi wa Ufaransa unashawishi vipi wananchi wa Ufaransa kuweza kuja kutalii Tanzania. Lakini jambo lingine alilozungumzia, amezungumzia juhudi, kama kuna plani zozote za serikali ya Ufaransa kuongeza nguvu katika sekta ya utalii kwa upande wa hapa kwetu nchini. Sasa baada ya mzungumzaji huyo, kwa muda sio rafiki sana, tunaomba tuende moja kwa moja kwa Profesa Hamis M. Malebo.